Welcome to the Real Faith Conversations on the One Name Church podcast. This is a moment where we have real conversations about our faith in Jesus. We're so glad you're joining us today. Wherever you are listening from, it is our hope that these conversations would inspire you to have real faith in Jesus. So hope you're ready because we're about to get real.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Real Faith Conversations here on the One Name Church podcast. And we're so honored that you're joining us here today. How are we doing? We have Pastor Jamie here with us. Why are you laughing?
I was laughing because I'm always interested to know what you're going to call me.
Pastor Jamie, Jamie, my wife, the love of my life, Lumpkins, whatever you want to call it, you know? What kind of names do you say?
I don't know. I'm never sure. That's why the face.
Right. So anyways, welcome. We have Jamie here who's always with us. And today we're just going to have a conversation around, jump right into it, have a conversation around ordering your life. And we thought about, as we were like, what do we talk about on this episode? Ordering your life, because I think there is an attack from the enemy on trying to get us distracted, trying to get us off and doing things that really, in the grand scheme of things, it's not our assignment. It's not what we're called to in this current season. And it's really things that really take up time that get us off purpose. And we see so many people in life, in ministry, just go like, I can't get to what I want to do. I can't really do what I want to do or what I'm called to do because of the little things of ordering their life. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to give you the practical and the spiritual side because we need both of them. Yeah. We can't always just live all the way practical, and we can't be all spiritual. We got to put them together so we can really order our life today. So we're going to dive right in. Yeah. Come on.
No, and I think like you were saying, most of our conversations center around things we feel like we've been having conversation with other people about, or it's getting more practical about a topic we've been talking about at the church. So I think this is something that like, you know, we've been having many conversations with different people about, so we want to put some handles to it today, because I just think that people find themselves in just a constant state of busyness and no clarity on why they're doing things or what they're called to do, which then leads to like emotional exhaustion. You know, your emotions kind of leave you, which then leaves you reacting to situations. Right. And then, you know, in turn then you lose spiritual focus as well, along with all that. Right. That all kind of happens in one shot by keeping you busy. What is the saying? Like, the devil couldn't make you sin, so he made you busy.
That's good. Come on, somebody.
And that right there, when you look at it from that lens and that perspective, like that's from an excellent book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Love it. We actually did a series on that. We talked about it.
But like that one key phrase right there, like I don't think anybody ever thought about the devil making them busy. Like we think the devil causes us to curse or to, you know, look at something we shouldn't, or, you know, maybe drink a little too. We think of those kinds of things, but we don't think of the two things I think of that we don't always think of is he makes you busy and he makes you miss your Sabbath, like, which is a sin as well. Anyway, so that leads us to
if I can add to that as we're in that, because it's really good stuff, is our pastor, who is always pouring into us. He challenged us when we were speaking to him about, you know, stop saying the word busy. Yeah. Stop saying you're busy, because when you say you're busy, it's really an indictment on your stewardship.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think sometimes we say we're busy and we can't do certain things, not because we are busy, just because we have poor time management. Yeah. We're not stewarding our life properly. We're not stewarding our calling properly. Yeah. So instead of us saying we're busy, we can say our life is full, because there's a lot going on. Yeah. My life is full, but my life is intentional. Yeah, yeah. And I think what we want to get across here to everyone's listening, to encourage you, is I think you have to live on purpose for your purpose and be intentional. It's funny how our team makes fun of us when we do certain things in our life, because you know, they're like, oh, well, we went to this dinner and then through that dinner we had a conversation about this. And because it's not like we're trying to just manipulate situations, but I just think it's important that we're intentional. Like if I'm taking someone out to dinner, it's intentional. It's
Yeah.
it's part of my calling. It's not like, you know, we say this all the time. We don't have time to hang out like in our stage of life. And I think that their hanging out is with a purpose. So everything has to become a purpose. So our life is full. We're not busy.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear the saying, people say the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
Because he is. If he can get you on the details, distracted in all the little things happening, then you can live your life where you get busy
Yeah.
and you never reach your calling.
Yeah, that's good. And I think busy, saying the word busy also insinuates like that you can't do anything.
Right.
But like if an opportunity comes that is aligned within what I'm called to do, like I will make time. I will move things around,
Right.
you know, like we have we're blessed with a great support system that maybe like a grandma can take a kid somewhere for the night or whatever is needed. Like when you are busy, that just means it's like an automatic no.
Right.
When you're full, that means like if it aligns within what God has called me to do, then we can shuffle it around, if that
Right.
makes sense.
And I want this to be encouraging because I feel like we've heard things like this before in our life.
Yeah.
And people might be listening right now and they're like, well, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You don't know my situation.
Yeah.
And da, da, da. And I think when we say that, we're really putting ourselves in what our examples instead of going, no, let me become a better steward.
Yeah. And I think stewardship means something different for everyone. Like how we might order and steward our life might not be what works for other people. Like, and we'll get into details later, but like we put our kids to bed super early. You know, I'm not saying that's the key to success for everyone.
Right.
I am saying it's really up there, is my opinion. But that,
Right. You got to have order, but not everyone can put their
yeah, like
their
that's
kids to
not
bed at a certain
reality
time.
for everyone. But like having order, having a bedtime for your kids will definitely help everything else fall into line. I don't know how people have a relationship with their spouse or have me time or have time with
spend
the
time with
Lord.
God.
Yeah, like how they do anything or get your house back into order for a second without their kids having a set bedtime. So I just think, you know, what that looks like. Stewardship, every person stewards what they've been called to do different. So what we're using is just examples of what works for us, but how you steward it, you have to see what fits in your flow and fits into what you're called to do. So we'll
Right.
lead into this. So being clear on what you're called to do. Can you explain that a little bit, like for you?
Yeah. So I think for us, understanding what we're called to do, and I think this is where a lot of people get distracted or confused because they're chasing other people's callings and they're trying to figure it out, and they really get to a space where they don't understand what they're doing, and then they're just like wasting seasons.
Yeah.
So I think where you have to get to a space where we've gotten to a space is we identify what has God put in my hands this season, because here's the big grand scheme. If you've read the parable of the talents, go read that. He talks about how he's leaving talents to us. It's not just money. It can be physical talents. It could be what he's put in our hands,
Yeah.
what he's given us. If it's our kids, if it's our ministry, whatever it is, you have to figure it, because sometimes we're carrying the wrong things.
Yeah.
So we have to understand what he's put in our hands, parable of the talents, and we have to make sure that we are focused on what's in our hands, because he says he's holding us accountable
Yeah.
to what's in our hands. He's not holding us accountable to the things
Yeah,
that are
that's
not
good.
given to us. He's not holding us accountable to someone else's talent or someone else's responsibility, anything else. He's holding us accountable to what's in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important for us and for you listening, you identify what are those areas that God has put in
Mm-hmm.
our hands. For us, for me right now, it's a father, it's a husband, and it's a pastor. That's it. Those are my three.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it's like, well, you're not a friend? No, I'm not a friend in this season. I don't have the capacity to be a friend in this
Yeah.
season. I have too many relationships, and I'm pastoring people, and they're not my friends. I love them, but I'm pastoring them as their leader. I'm shepherding and discipling my kids. I have my wife to lead. And I think sometimes we go, well, that's a boring life. That's like what, you know what I mean? I think we want a lot of things happening in our
Yeah.
life. to make us feel better about ourselves. Like
Yeah.
we got a lot going on. And what happens is we try to seek that. And that's not in our hands.
Yeah.
And what we try to do. And then we start carrying all these things like,
Yeah.
well, I guess I got to be a friend in this season. I guess I got to be this person in this season. I guess I got to be a pickleballer in this season. And we, if any of those things are not supporting, that's what we talk about. If not supporting those three things that are in your hands, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Well, I
And
think it's
you
being
should
okay.
say no to it.
Yeah, understanding that you are not all things to all people.
Right.
And that's unattainable, that's impossible, that's not, that's why we always feel unworthy or like we fell short or we let people down, because you're trying to be all things to all those people. And I think, like what you were talking about with like friends in this season, like we are friends and do life with the people we do ministry with. That's a beautiful blessing of like, I think battling on the front lines for
Right.
God's kingdom is like, like you're sowing time and resources and energy together. And so people always ask me like, what's the difference between that? And I'm like, I always explain it as like, we're friends. We know about life, kids hang out, like all that kind of stuff. But if you were to ever put me in a situation that I had to hold you accountable to something that was like you versus the church, and prayerfully that doesn't happen. But my calling as the pastor of One Name Church is to shepherd the church and do what is right for them. So I think we can call each other friends, but you got to know that if anything is ever on the line, that's the line for us.
Right.
Like, because I
And
think
then your calling should trump.
yeah. So I think
The
it's the same
friendship
thing.
should
Like,
come over.
if you're a
anything
business
else.
owner and you
Yeah.
have friends within your business and you do business together, I think it's the same thing. Yes, you guys are working together, you're forging on the front lines together, but the calling God gave you was to steward that business, and that business will always come first.
Right. And I think this is where people go. Maybe you can help answer this question. Most people get confused because I feel like so many people don't know what they're called to do.
Yeah.
Let me help you out right now. Matthew 28:19. Therefore, go make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And this is the Great Commission. So if you're struggling with what is my calling, if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, that is your calling.
Yeah. That's good.
Go make disciples.
Yeah.
So ministry is where your feet are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're a doctor, that workplace, that is I'm making disciples here.
Yeah.
If I'm a mom, stay at home mom, I'm making disciples.
Every
This
day.
is disciples.
Yep.
Wherever I work, wherever I go,
Yeah.
ministry is where my
Well, I
feet
think we
is.
get too caught up on like the title. Like,
Right. We're just like, well, I got to be a pastor, or I got to have a ministry, or I got to start a Bible study, and I got to do all these things. Your calling is where God has placed. Where has God placed you? Are you living out the Great Commission? If you're not doing that, you are trying to seek something else and not seek, okay, God has placed me here. And I think a lot of us get to a space where our life is out of order because we are trying to gain either
Yeah.
recognition,
Yeah.
we're trying to gain something,
title or a position
title,
that, like,
position,
yeah.
whatever. And then God has put this in our hands. And just like the bad manager, he goes, well, you hid it. You took what I give you, you put it, you buried it, and you said, well, I'm going to go focus on something else. And then when Jesus says, when he returns and I come back and you didn't do anything with it, he says, I'm holding you accountable.
yeah.
So I think the spiritual side of this is like, we have to have an urgency in us to go, this is the Great Commission. What is in my hands? And I need to steward that. God is
Yeah.
holding me accountable for my stewardship.
Yeah. That's good.
And I have to be willing to go, oh, well, when I get there, then I'll do
Yeah. X, Y, and Z.
the commission. Then I'll do Matthew 28, or I'll
Yeah.
do my calling, or then I'll get my life right.
Yeah.
Because that's what the world teaches.
Yeah.
Like when I arrive at the space, no, if you do it now,
yeah.
what does God say? If you're faithful with little,
Few.
I'm going to give you more.
Yeah.
But most
good.
people never go back because
Yeah.
they're not, it's just like, can I just share? I know I'm talking here, I'm rambling on. I want to help this. But I just feel like for me, my personal story was when I was working in a church as a janitor, unclogging toilets and doing the dirty job. And I remember sitting there going, what is this? I feel like God has called me to more than this. I feel like God has called me to preach. God has called me to do these things. And what God checked me in this season, he checked me in this season of, I've placed you here.
Yeah.
And I want you to do ministry here.
Yeah.
And I'm not just worried about what you're doing for me. I'm worried about what I'm doing in you.
Yeah.
So he was wringing out my heart. He was making me humble. He was getting me ready for what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want to get past that test. We want to move into that net, and then our life just, you know what I mean? And then we're not ordering it in the moment.
Well, that brings us to our first point on like how you can order your life. And I think that's part of your testimony right there, is like we focus on our public world, our public work, you know, your work, your reputation, your responsibilities, what other people see. And then we are, you know, not focusing on our private world. We're not focusing on the things that actually drive us, our relationship with the Lord, our stewardship, our worship, our tithing, all of our how we serve. We're not focused on those private things that maybe people don't see from the outside. But so kind of step one on how to order your life is to focus on your private world. Is your private world in order so that your public world can attain what you want it to attain through that reputation? Matthew 6 verse 33 says this: seek first the kingdom and all these things will be added to you. And I think the only way to seek the kingdom is behind closed doors. It's not always on platforms. It's not always just at church on Sunday. Like, it's in your personal devotion time. It's in your worship. It's in your, all that stuff that people don't.
And what's crazy, and what's crazy about that, what we've seen a lot in our, almost, you know, we're getting close to 20 years of full-time ministry, but we're getting there. But what we've seen a lot is we've seen the private world, like what's the word? It's like, I think ooze, like it's like it's slowly is coming into the public world. And eventually, if you are not ordering your private life, that will come out and you start to see it. And like the Holy Spirit, we give discernment on, we can see people and we go, oh, their private life is out of order just by how they walk into church.
Yeah.
By the way they dress.
Yeah.
By what's going on in their life. Like, it's crazy how you can see people's spiritual condition and where they're at coming out in their physical. Maybe you can get away with it for a while, but when your private world is out of order, that's when you start to become late. Let's just get practical. Yeah. You're late to things. You start, and then you become unprepared, and you're not ready for the opportunity. And God, I love how God's gracious, because when that happens, that's why He's like, I'm pausing everything, because I want you to get it right there before you go into public. And you get to the space where I get to the space and I fall from there, because that's where, you know, a lot of hurt and pain come from. So you can see how when your private life is not in order, how it affects. And that's why most people are like, oh, I want to do these things. Yeah. But it's like when the Monday, like for us, the Monday and Saturday when no one's watching what we're doing, that's more important than Sunday morning from 10 to 11 a.m.
Yeah. For sure.
Because that is preparing us for that moment.
Yeah. Well, and I think like what you're talking about, one of those like private world things is I watch you give up opportunities and different things to do on Saturday to be home and in bed and, you know, studying. Like, why do you go to bed at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.? Yeah. Like, I went somewhere a couple weeks ago and they're like, where's Corey? And I'm like, oh no, this is like, he doesn't come out this late on Saturdays. Like, you know, he's preparing for tomorrow. Like, and I know that that's a private world like discipline that you have, so that your public world on a Sunday is seen. And I know that's private, what most people don't see. And it
goes back to, this is where I've wrestled with, how bad do you want to do what you're called to do?
For sure.
Because I feel people say they want to be used by God, but they don't want to be used by God.
Yeah.
And if you're used by God, there's submission and there's things that you give up and you sacrifice that you're just like, I've given up how many Saturdays in almost 20 years.
That alone sounds crazy to people. Like, I'm in bed at 7 on a Saturday, and so that I could be up.
Because I'd rather be ready for what God has called me to do than waste some time on things that God hasn't called me to.
Yeah.
And when the opportunity comes, I'm not ready because
For sure.
I didn't get enough
I'm
rest.
sleepy. Yeah. Yeah. And that brings us to the second one. It's discipline and planning. It talks about building a structure so that your life is not reactive.
Love this.
And I think that's so huge because I do think there's a part of life that like is just going to be reactive. There's nothing you can do about that.
Well, there's things that come up that you can't control.
Yeah, like our car this week broke down. Of course, it was on a Sunday morning. There was nothing we could do about it. We parked it and we got a ride. But we had to react
have no ride.
to a situation that was not planned. So there is a certain level of that there's nothing you can do about that, but you got to kind of, build margin for that. But when the rest of it has structure, structure, planning, all that kind of stuff, it makes it flow. Discipline, that was the word. Makes it flow a little bit easier. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5 says this: the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. And I think that's how I want to live my life, where I have that room for that abundance, for those moments, like practical within that. Like we have a Monday meeting every week. Like, what are we doing? Like, who's doing what? Who's doing this?
It's funny how
like,
so many people like think that's crazy.
Yeah,
especially
like,
married couples. Oh, you guys
sure.
meet?
Yeah.
Yeah, we meet about what
like
we're going to
you all, and to us, it's like y'all just flying out here by the seat.
Yo, what's up? I'm home. I'm home from work.
Now, again, that came out of a situation that maybe like early on in our marriage.
Yeah, early on in our marriage, we weren't doing anything.
We weren't doing that.
I was not a planner in the beginning.
Like, no.
I was just like, let's go everywhere.
And that was before you could track people. And I would be like, where is this man at? Like, I'd have to pull up to his job and be like, where are you? What are you doing?
But I'm so glad that
like,
God blessed me with you, because what happens is because I believe because of that, I'm living more in my calling now because you've helped me do that, because I would just get to places where I'm so frustrated.
Yeah.
Before we put this in place, like, why am I so frustrated? Because when you're not living in purpose. Your soul knows when you're not living in purpose. Like, you look around the people where we see every day, Star Wars, they're miserable.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
One, they don't have Jesus, and two, they don't have purpose.
Yeah.
And the reason they're frustrated, why are you so frustrated? Because they're doing things reactive and they're just existing. But when you get this order to your life and you get on your calling, you're so fulfilled.
So it's the
They're
planning.
like, do you enjoy, they're like, someone asked, do you enjoy church? I love it. I'm doing what I'm called to do. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you do. Yes,
it's like, I love doing this.
For that.
Like, you know what I mean? Why? Because I'm doing what I'm called to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that comes with a lot of planning, and then discipline on the other half of that.
Right.
I think that's discipline in your physical, like what is your movement? It doesn't have to be like,
you don't got to be an athlete.
Yeah, like I'm not like doing CrossFit every morning, but like diligent in your movement, disciplined with your movement, disciplined with your time with the Lord, disciplined in what you eat and when and all that kind of stuff. Like that, like even something as simple, like I'm not going to put you on blast, but like dairy does not sit well with
Dairy's
Corey.
not good.
It's not his
for
friend.
Anybody, I think.
But like we've been in situations that like something had dairy in it and we didn't know it. Like, what was it, Friday night? You had a dairy-free ice cream thing, and you were like, "Oh, that was."
If they call it dairy-free, it's not dairy-free.
He was like,
it's
"That
a
was
lie of the devil."
I don't know, but that was all he ate out of his normal routine, and that night he was hurting. So it's like disciplined even in that, and like, I mean, you were disciplined in it. It was dairy-free, but it went wrong. But I'm just saying, like, if you know you have something that your body's reactive to, no matter how much you're craving it or you're, like that affects. Then you're up with a tummy ache when you should be sleeping, and it spirals.
Well, it's just like what Paul says, and I love when he talks about we're not athletes, but we want to think like the mind of an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, as followers of Jesus, we want to be spiritually fit. But being spiritually fit is being physically fit.
Yeah.
Because like an athlete, they discipline their body to make it their slave, so they will not be disqualified.
Yeah, that's good.
So I just think that doesn't mean you got to go out and be crazy about it. But you got to be active. Like I tell our worship team, I go, if we are doing 3 songs on a Sunday and we're jumping up and down and we're chugging air, y'all got to do some more working out so you can be able to jump up and down and have the energy. You don't got to be running a marathon. but you got to be in shape to do what God's called you to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you got to have your voice in shape to what God's
Yeah.
called you to do. You got to have your,
And that
you know,
a lot of those things happen in private,
Right.
People see that public 3 songs and all that, but they didn't know it took you walking 4 miles every day, like,
right. And it's not just in ministry, it's in life.
yeah, for sure.
Like, and I think most people can't.
Man, to keep up with our 2-year-old, you gotta
Right.
like,
And I think most people, like, and we tell this a lot to our people who are servant leader. I love every servant leader at One Name Church. Come on, let's give it up for all our servant leaders that work full-time jobs. Our staff does this as well. And then they come in and serve the Lord.
Yeah.
But like, I remember us doing that as well. And there were things, it's like, we just worked our job, and then we came in and did our ministry. And again, we sacrificed a lot. So you got to know what you're called to
Yeah.
do.
And then also
what I
with
mean?
that, the discipline, it's the discipline of the Sabbath and whatever that looks like to you and keeping that command, whether, like whatever day it is that you are truly resting, you are truly putting work aside, spending that extra time with the Lord. Like, are you truly honoring the discipline of Sabbath? Because I think that helps you keep everything in order, because when we're tired and we're overworked and we're exhausted, like we're not in order. So I think
Right.
that's
And
important
it's
too.
not, the Sabbath is not an option. I think
Yeah.
we get into,
There's a whole
it's a
bunch more
command.
resources on that.
and we're not going to get into, maybe we can do another podcast on theologically the Sabbath, because, because people can be out there like, it's supposed to be on Saturday. But I think you have to have a Sabbath.
Yeah.
American culture doesn't teach that. They teach other things of
Yeah.
like hustle hard, hustle culture. But I think you want to work not for rest.
Yes.
You want to work from it.
That's good. Yeah.
You are the best version of yourself, and you can live out your calling when you're working from rest.
Yeah.
That's why we take our day off on Fridays, because our weeks start on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how I go around and I'm like, everyone's like coming rested into Monday. We're not coming rested into Monday, because that's like our game days were Saturday, Sundays.
Yeah.
So we're coming from Friday into the weekend. So you want to have that, and we'll talk again. We don't have enough time to talk about it.
Yeah. We'll put some good books and resources.
But we've talked
for
about
you.
it at church.
Yeah.
I've said it at church. We've done messages. Pastor Miguel spoke on it. We've done a lot of things where it's like, hey, the Sabbath is important. So I
Yeah.
think it's very important for us to make sure that we have that in our rhythm and in our schedule,
Yeah.
because when your life is out of order because you're not resting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. And then the last one, unless you have more to add to it, is finding the simplicity and slowing. And I think that alone is so countercultural. We drive fast, we talk fast, we, expect everything we order
South Florida,
on
there
our
is no
phone.
slowing.
Yeah, like, you get to Starbucks and your mobile order ain't there. Like, there's no.
Well, you're at
like,
a light and people honk
Yeah.
at you 0.3 seconds into the.
But there's a study that talks about like what that psychologically does to your brain. Like it kind of just puts your brain in a constant state of like, I gotta go, I gotta walk. Like, and I'm guilty of this all the time. Like I walk fast. I like everything is kind of just on fast forward in my mind. But like sometimes part of having order is part of just slowing down. Maybe drive the speed limit. Like go for a walk. I just think it's doing small, simple things like that. Maybe, and I think also it's like finding a hobby. I know this is not something we do very well in this season of our life, and maybe that this isn't something that's for everybody. But I think if you have the space to do a hobby that's just like slowing of your mind, most of the time our go-to is something else that is fast-paced. It's social media, it's TV, it's a movie, like it's different things like that we are still putting our minds in that state of like go, quick action. Like, and I was reading, or I was listening to something the other day where it talked about like Netflix now only runs a movie that, like when they create a Netflix original movie, they are required, I'm going to get the facts wrong, but like they're required to repeat the plot like 4 or 5 times. Like, whereas movies, like old school, I guess not old school movies, most movies are made like you got to keep up with the plot line through the whole 2.5 hour movie. Well, now Netflix is aware that people are multitasking. They're on their phone, they're doing something else while they are watching the movie, that you have to repeat the plot in the movie for people to watch the movie for Netflix to make it. Like, so that alone just tells you about the pace of our culture. And then I think that then in turn teaches you like the pace of your life. And sometimes it's like, you know, for us, it's like, we love to sit out in the backyard, like down by the lake. Like, and I know God has spoken to me so many things, but like, I wouldn't have heard those things if I did not find the simplicity in sitting in my backyard and not yelling at the ducks, but sitting and slowing.
Well, I think, you know, God is outside of time. So he's not rushing anything. You know what I mean? We put a time on everything. And yes, there is time ticking, but I do think solitude is very important in our relationship with God and our calling and what we're doing. Because if you cannot stop, you will burn out.
Yeah.
If you cannot pause, if you cannot get to a space to slow down, get to solitude with God, sometimes you just need to be quiet.
Well, it says
and
that
sit in the presence of God.
Studies show that hurry kills your love, because then you show people around you that you don't have time for them. You know, you ran in, your Starbucks wasn't ready, and now you're mad at the barista. When what did God call us to do? Love one another, love your neighbor. And then it also kills our joy, because like it's not fun to rush. Like I try very much as a mother not to rush.
Do not
JC.
rush kids, because
Like,
you'll build anxiety.
yeah. So we try very hard not to rush her. But when we do, I can tell that the tone, like JC's just a naturally like joyful kid. Like, but when I'm like, come on, let's go, like it naturally just takes the joy. You can watch it in your own kids. And I know that that's happening with us too, when we're constantly rushing throughout life.
Right. And I think it's important to, you know, go back and listen to all those messages that I spoke on hurry and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think it's very important that we develop the skill as a Christ follower to like slow down and like it's the fruit of the Spirit. Have some patience.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
I think we get to a space like when you're mature, when you become a mature believer, you like go through the culture and the life and you see everything just going so fast, but you're like in slow motion. And I think that you want to do that because you want to be able to see a need, meet a need.
Yeah, that's good.
Let me see this person. What, you know, and I'm going. You go into your life going, oh, I see what God sees.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting, when you slow down, you get spiritual eyes.
Yeah.
When you have solitude with the Lord, you start to see what the Lord sees, hear what the Lord is speaking. But sometimes maybe you're out there and you're just like, well, I don't know what I'm called to do. And purpose and my life's crazy. And we hear that all the time. It's because you haven't slowed down.
It might simply be this. Yeah.
Solitude.
Yeah.
And you're overloading.
Yeah.
And I think another thing we could talk about with this, I know that we can go on and we're going to wrap up here in a minute, but it's just the priorities. Like those are in your hands. Mm-hmm. Okay. But like it's like someone carrying too many groceries. I always like to come in the house and look, I can carry every grocery from the car and go, look, I'm strong. I can put them all on my arm and do like that. And that's like a picture of how a lot of us live our lives.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just like trying to balance. Oh, you know, I hate the word balance. No. I'm trying to balance my life and do that. No, you need to order it.
Yeah, that's good.
You need to order your life and you need to get some of those groceries that are on your hands.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be carrying.
Because the reality is you're going to drop one.
Right. And the reason why you're rushing, the reason why you are moving through life like that is because you have all these things in your hands that you're trying to keep up. You're trying to maintain. Yeah. And you don't have enough time in that. I believe this. God has given us enough time to live out what we're called to do.
For sure. Yeah. No,
he's given us enough time. There is enough time to do what you're called to do. There's not enough time to do what you're not called to do.
Amen. But
there's
I think
not
that
enough time.
Requires living a little drastic in some.
We got to be crazy about this. We got to be drastic about this. We got to go to bed early.
You got to go to bed early. You got to wake up early. Your kids might not be in 19 activities. You know.
I'm not in youth sports all around 55 games.
Yeah,
and I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not running after what the world's running after. Yep. You're running after what we're here to reach people and get people into heaven. Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing youth sports, you better know I'm in there to reach this team. That has to be your assignment and your mentality. Sure. And I think if we would get our minds like this, like if we would understand that people around us are going to hell and people are like our cousins and our families if they don't know Jesus, they're dying and spending eternity away, and we don't get urgent about it. Like if we don't get passionate about it, then we're just wasting time.
Yeah.
Like we have to go into everything going, God, you've placed me here.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
going in here on assignment today. I'm
Yeah.
going in here ready to do what you've called me to do. So Holy Spirit, be with me. And my eyes are looking for an opportunity to advance the gospel and advance the kingdom. I'm not just going to gymnastics. And sometimes it's very easy to go to gymnastics with Jason, just sit there and everyone's, I'm not butting into people's conversations because it's weird because it's the moms talking when I go. But anyways, but sometimes you're just like, I'm there. It's like, but you're there going, okay, I'm seeing, these people are hurting, whatever. You're developing a relationship in these moments, not just to develop relationships, but be intentional to advance the gospel. So I just think most of us don't think like that. We're just trying to paycheck to paycheck, and I got to get bills paid. And you're more concerned about getting your bills paid than actually being used by God. And I'm here in this preaching moment right now. But I think it's very important that we order our life, because we're going to get to the end of our life and God is going to say, what did you do with what I've given you?
Yeah.
And if you said, I had this and I had that and I had to do this and I went to church, and he's going to say, well, I never knew you because you didn't spend time with me.
Yeah.
You didn't do what I called to do. And what I put in your hand, you threw out to grab something else.
Yeah. That's good.
So I think this is important. Like we got to get this straight, and we got to, it's like we got to cut out cut off the fat.
That's good.
Strip down the things you don't need.
Yeah.
Embrace the word no.
I think the important thing after today, because I know it was like a lot of information,
but
obviously like start at ordering that private world, start there. And then after that, it's like, I think people fail at new habits because they come in there with like the laundry list of all 10 of them. I got to do this. And then the second you don't do them, you fall off and you start all over again. Pick that one thing. Like, what is the one thing that God asked you to be extremely disciplined in this year? And do that, and do it to the best of your ability and win at it. And when you start winning at it, add something else to it. Like, I just think you got to look at it as like little pieces to a puzzle versus oh my God, I got to blow up my whole life and change all of this.
Right. Well, I think the really easy step is answering those questions. What has God's put on my hand?
Yeah.
Like for me, father, husband, pastor. Okay, you identify that.
Yep.
And then now you're going through every day of your life. We've done this with our team. Yeah. We're just like, if they want it, we're not micromanaging people. But if you want it, print out every hour and every minute of the day and tell me what you do during that time.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with that, I'll let you know based off what you said that you're called to do, what you said you're called to do. I'll let you know if these things are fitting into what you're called to do or you're wasting time somewhere. That's a great exercise that we've done to evaluate where are we wasting time. Okay, I shouldn't be doing this because it has nothing to do with my calling. Yeah. For me, God always wrecks me with the sports teams. Like, why are you watching so many games? That has nothing to do with your calling. Yeah. And I'm always trying to manage that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm intentional. Like, okay, we'll just do fantasy to reach men. Come on, somebody. I don't know.
And that's why you're invited and God to says, my house.
Just give it up. Just give it up.
To watch the games.
Yeah. Anyways, but I think that's where because a good thing can become not a God thing. Yeah. And it can become a cancer to you if you don't order it. So you do that, you put that all together, then you evaluate that, and then you slow down. And I think if you do these little exercises we've talking about, then you're going to start to get an alignment. And once you're aligned, those who are aligned, they have an assignment. Once you're aligned, you're on assignment. Like I get aligned with God, then I'm on assignment. So anyways, we could talk a lot about this. We could do part 2, but we're done now. We're
done. We'll put some of the books that have helped teach us in
and we've done a lot of messages on this, but and we love to talk to people individually about how can we help you, but not everyone wants that.
Well, yeah.
But if you do, we're here. But we love you guys, and the biggest thing we can do is order our life so we can be used by God and get to the space where we're a good servant with our talents and be like Jesus says, well done.
Yeah.
You know what Jesus says in there? I will double it.
That's great.
I will double it. I will multiply your life and give you more because you were good. You were faithful with that. Yeah. And that's what we all want to hear. So we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in for our Real Faith conversation. And subscribe, do all those things. We'd love for you to get this out to more people. We're just trying to help people grow in their spiritual walk and just be real about our faith. So love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real Faith Conversations from One Name Church. For more information or to connect with us, visit onename.church or follow us on our socials at One Name Church.